Joann Fabrics has announced a rebrand. But the ultimate question is, will this work and can the company turn things around? Plus, we will be digging a little bit deeper into patents tonight. Welcome to Sewing Report Live. I'm Jen. Every week we go over the latest in what is happening in the sewing and crafts world. Welcome. And I do want to give a quick shout out to tonight's live stream sponsor, as usual. It is the Sewing Report Etsy shop. This is where you can find all of your fabric and sewing supplies. Again, this is an independent show, so supporting the Etsy shop helps bring this show every week. You can find fabric. I am also now stocking some apparel fabrics like rayon and knit, and I hopefully will be having more. You can get sewing notions, you can get woven sewing labels, quilting cotton bundles, sew tights, lots of stuff, so check it out. You can find that all at sewingreport.etsy.com, and each purchase is packed and shipped out by me. This is a one-woman show here, guys. Again, no employees, no nothing. It is literally just me. And yeah, I hope everyone's having a great weekend. Just a quick, just a heads up, I do have a bit of a headache, so sometimes I don't know. I feel like I'm not all there, so I may be a little bit fuzzy at times, so I apologize in advance. We're going through some weather right now, and every time that happens, my husband and I tend to get like these migraines, or like, I don't know if they're like pressure headaches or whatever. I am super thrilled about the rain though, because I don't know what's going on, y'all, but I live in Florida and we've been on like a watering restriction in my county for like ever pretty much, and my grass looks terrible. So I'm super pumped about the rain, because hopefully some of our grass will start to like propagate again. Like it's kind of a mess. So that's hopefully a good thing. So I'm really thrilled. I'm honestly really thrilled that it's raining, and it's been raining we had like a real bad dry spout, and it's been pretty bad. And I don't know about you, but I live in an HOA community, and those can be a real nightmare. And last summer we had to spend $1,500 to resod the lawn, because again, even since we moved in, we didn't really have it was mostly weeds. I'm gonna be real. I do give them credit. It took them 4 years to catch up to us, so we had to resod the yard, and it really, I get a lot of anxiety because of the drought, because I'm like, oh my gosh, we spent so much money on this freaking grass, and I don't want it to die. But when you're on a watering restriction and you're only allowed to water your lawn once a week, yes, once a week, it's a little rough, And then you've got the HOA rules saying that your grass has to be green. I'm like, guys, how can we keep the grass green if I can only water it once a freaking week? So I'm really hoping that things start to turn around for the lawn. So welcome everyone that's watching. Also, a quick kind of public service announcement. If you love sew tights, which I'm a big fan of, Sew Tights is having a really fantastic sale. So I have linked the website in the comments here in the chat, and it's also in the description box. But from now until July 4th, so you've got a little bit under a week, Sew Tights, which I've got my little hang stand here. I've got some of my Sew Tights. We've got the minis, the lights, and the originals. Really great products. You can live magnetically. They're having a 10% off site-wide sale on everything that's in stock. That does include the Sew Magnetic cutting system. That's a really cool magnetic cutting system. It comes with a magnetic cutting mat. It comes with a magnetic ruler, and it comes with some boosters. And this whole system is 10% off, but it also stacks with my coupon code Sewing Report. I am a Sew Tights affiliate. This is not sponsored. They're just friends of the Sewing Report. So from now until July 4th, you can get 10% off of everything that's in stock on the website. So that does not count pre-orders, but it does count everything that's already available to ship. And then you can also stack that with 15% off of your order if you use the coupon code Sewing Report. So just a quick heads up, you can get some really great prices. I sell Sew Tights myself in the Etsy shop, but if you want to purchase it from our friends at Sew Tights, you can actually get a better deal right now. Plus, if you buy 3 or more items, you can get free shipping. So free shipping on orders of 3 items or more, and then you can get 10% off site-wide plus an additional 15% with the coupon code Sewing Report. So really great stuff. Sew Tights are great products. I've been using them for years, and they're really nice people. It's a small business owned by sisters out in Montana, and it's just a really nice, small business. I know, a lot of stuff is made by corporations, but this is a company that is run, that is, look, they're small, they're American, and they're they're women owned. So if you would like to support a small business, our friends at Sew Tights, great people, great products, and I've been using these, you can use your Sew Tights for so many things. And the Sew Magnetic Cutting System is also great if you're like me and you just don't have a lot of upper body strength. And the magnets have been really helpful in just keeping the ruler in place, and helps, it's really great for cutting out pattern templates, that sort of thing. So great stuff there. I know that the cutting system is a little on the expensive side, so if you want to save a little bit of money, you can get 10% off plus an additional 15% off with the coupon code Sewing Report. So, all right, with that said, all right, let me turn this music off here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Joann Fabrics, but I saw this press release they put out, and all right, we're going to go over it because I want to know what you all think about this new project. So Joann, we've been covering the bankruptcy filing. That's kind of done. But now the question is, what are they going to do to make significant and positive changes? So, yeah, there's a lot going on with this company. All right, so I want to share this press release that they put out this week. Oh, and by the way, they still don't have on the website the leadership team, so that they still haven't updated that. So I'm like, when is that going to happen, guys? When is that going to happen? All right, so this is the latest from our buddies at Joann's. Yeah, they probably, I'm not going to say they're buddies. They probably hate me. I don't know. So it says, all right, news release. This was put out this week. Happiness starts here. Joann rebrands as Joann in new campaign focused on the joy of creating. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. All right. So we're going to see what Joann's is going to be doing. And I'll let you know what I think, too. Iconic sewing and craft retailer focuses on the benefits of creative connections as it looks toward the future. Joann, the nation's category leader in sewing and fabrics, announced today its new reimagined brand campaign that repositions Joann as Jo-and. Through creative commercial spots, influencer relationships, and social media campaigns, Joann is focusing its efforts on inspiring the next generation of creators to find happiness in the experience of creating and connecting with others. And when you start finding that joy through creativity, the possibilities for what your next project will be are endless. We believe crafting isn't only about the finished product. The real joy is in the process of creating and connecting with others, said Chris DiTullio, Chief Customer Officer. And is a powerful 3-letter word that represents the endless possibilities of product and inspiration that customers can find at Joann. We are excited to continue raising awareness of our expanded, affordable, and best-in-class product assortments to inspire more creativity in the world. Joann encourages customers of any age, background, or skill level to create something for a loved one, a friend, someone in need, or even just for themselves. Not only a sewing and fabrics icon, Joann offers endless possibilities for project exploration, including a wide breadth of assortment, More than 100,000 SKUs across fabric, sewing, craft, needle arts, home decor, kids, papercraft, craft tech, painting supplies, and more. The brand has also permanently marked down more than 15,000 items to enable all customers to afford more creativity than ever. All right, question though, why do they stock all of this rando home decor and like tchotchkes? You know, I don't know. How is that helping us be more creative? We are excited to bring more joy to more customers than ever, particularly those younger customers who are committed to finding happiness, mental health, and connections to others, all of which are benefits of creating. Through lowering prices and investing in this awareness campaign, we want everyone to know Joann is here and committed as ever to inspiring happiness through creativity, DeTullio said. Giving has also been part of Joann's identity, whether it's knitting hats for the homeless, crafting a scrapbook for a family member, or creating blankets for those in need. Joann's team members and customers are inspired to create to give. Joann partners with impactful charitable organizations such as Children's Miracle Network, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, Kids in Need Foundation, Susan G. Komen, and more throughout the year. Through July, customers can help Joann protect the mental health of our youth by joining its campaign to raise funds for the Kids Mental Health Foundation in all stores. Since 2021, Joann team members and customers have raised more than $3.6 million to help the foundation offer free mental health resources and treatment to youth nationwide. After more than 80 years in business and with more than 800 stores and 18,000 passionate team members, Joann is embracing the future and poising itself for a long future of inspiration. Inspiration, guys. All right, so that is their... Yeah, I don't even know where to go with this, quite honestly. Let's take a look at their little... So they did produce a video for this Joann campaign, and I've also noticed their social media is reflecting this whole rebrand. All right, so let's take a look at the video first of all. All right, so we're going to take a look at the video. Let me, okay. Let me try to play this here. Okay. I'm going to try to figure out how to like all right, what's the, okay, theater mode. All right, this is good. All right, so let's take a look at their ad. I want to get your take on how effective this is or what you think. So let's take a look at the Joann ad for this new rebrand. All right, let me see. Hopefully y'all can hear this. Okay.
Safety pins and beads? Letter beads. Bam, friendship necklaces. And how about friendship
sweater vests?
Grandma! Some cozy yarn and a loop here and okay, cute! And tiny. And voila, doggy sweaters. And ooh, how about dog bandanas? With the cute print and little pom-poms, and these would make the best little gifts. Jacob's birthday's coming up. What should I make him? He loves...
plants.
You do love plants. Perfect. A crafted planter. A painted planter. I could even get some rope and make matching macrame hangers. And we could hang them together, and then you lean in close, and...
Can I help you?
Where's the cotton fabric?
Follow me.
It's not about the end, it's about the and. Joann. Happiness starts here.
Okay, so I don't dislike the ad. I'm a little unsure how strong, like, I'm a little bit confused about the messaging though. One good thing, I think it's good that they featured like a Gen Z person in the ad. So to kind of evoke like, hey, we're trying to get hip with the times and encourage young people. I also did like that they highlighted different types of crafts and making stuff. They had sewing, they had like some jewelry making, you know, knitting, all kinds of stuff. So they are at least highlighting different types of creativity, and I think that's a good thing. I'm a little bit confused about this, and like, I just don't get it. and it's like, okay, so you can do knitting and scrapbooking and sewing. I feel like the messaging for me as a customer just is a little bit unclear as to what they're trying to accomplish through this, but you know, I don't think it's I think it's way better than the Etsy ad, like that Etsy Super Bowl ad. I thought that was just the one with the giving a gift to France. I thought that was just really bizarre, and it didn't make a lot of sense. I also do think it's good that they didn't just put some random I'm really tired of crafting brands or they hired like Drew Barrymore. I'm at least glad that they didn't just slap a celebrity in there and pay them boatloads of money to do that. But at the same time though, I don't know how effective that ad is. I just didn't really... I don't know if the average person would see that ad and just think, yeah, I'm going to go to Joann's and make something. I just felt like they were trying to do too much in the ad. And maybe focus on I think it might have been more effective if maybe they've done a few different ads and focused on one particular craft in each one. Maybe trying to make it more approachable, but it just flies. I just felt like they were trying to fly through too many different disciplines to where I was just like, what just happened here? So, I don't know. I'm not sure who came up with this Joann idea. I just don't really get it. I'm like, okay. It just seems like something, it seems like something a corporate executive would come up with without a lot of, it seems like something an out-of-touch corporate executive would do, and not someone who actually crafts or sews or anything like that. So, I don't know. I don't think it was the worst ad ever, but it just didn't really get me. You know what I mean? I don't know. So, yeah, what was that? So, let's also take a look at their Instagram, because I have noticed they're definitely doing, they're definitely doing some influencer collabs with various people. All right, so let's take a look at the Instagram here. So, if you've noticed, a lot of they're doing a ton of reels, and a lot of it is collabs with random influencers. So you can kind of see okay, and you got this, I don't know what the frick this is. Okay, they're promoting Halloween stuff in June, which is kind of bizarre. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so this is the ad.
Safety.
So you can see this is
Make a smart
this is
dress
a
with
paid
fabric
collab
from
here.
Joann. It's easy enough that even a kid.
So they're definitely going hard on the influencer sponsored content here. So this is also
when I come to the studio,
content.
sometimes I only need to bring,
this appears to be sponsored or some sort of collab. The thing that does kind of concern me a little bit is I don't see all of the
This Juneteenth, I'm celebrating freedom.
I don't see all of the some of them are better than others with the Federal Trade Commission disclosures. If you're not aware, if you are doing any sort of influencer marketing, the FTC, at least in the United States, requires you to do a lot with the disclosures. This one actually looks pretty good. They've got the paid partnership marked, and this person at least puts ad right off the bat. But I'm seeing some posts that seem to be missing some of those elements. So Joann could be doing better with communicating all that's required with sponsored content.
Let's make a floral
This
bloom
is
box.
a paid
Grab a
partnership.
trifold foam board, trim down the sides.
You can see here, there's no, they got Joann partner, but there is no partnership disclosure. So this one does appear to be, again, no shade at this particular influencer, but this one is not doing all of the necessary disclosures. But they are doing a lot of
Let's make an easy and adorable
content. So on one hand, though, I do like that at least Joann's is giving money to people who actually craft and make stuff instead of like celebrities or some actor to be in an ad. So at least they are giving money to people who are actually in the community versus people who are not even a part of the creative community. They're just like an actor or a celebrity. So I do think that's good. I'm just like, like this whole rebrand announcement though, I do have a question for you watching out there. And that is, will this make a difference? Like, do you see any of this stuff really moving the needle for Joann's? Oh, and I did forget to mention this right off the top. If you are participating in the live chat or in the replay, I do have a few just general rules for participating. Again, be nice, be respectful to myself and everyone here. Please, no self-promotion, no links, and no politics. We just want to keep this, you know, like a real chill space here. But yeah, I don't, like, it seems like a lot of the problems that customers are having with Joann's is, one, the items they're selling. A lot of y'all are complaining about the lack of quality fabric, quality supplies. They're selling a lot of like these private label in-house brands, and I know a lot of you don't seem super thrilled with the quality of these supplies. They may be cheaper, but you know, not everyone seems real happy with how good they are. And we've also seen a lot of the stores are not allotting enough employee hours to get things done, get the inventory unpacked, to be able to help customers even do their jobs. So that seems to be an issue. And another problem is the ordering system. I've seen a lot of people complaining about even if you're just ordering online, that you're not getting all of your orders are getting canceled, you're getting charged multiple times for things. And the buy online, pick up in store system seems to be kind of a mess. So I guess my question is, even if they do this influencer campaign, try to do this brand refresh, does that even matter if they don't fix the fundamental issues with the shopping experience, both online and in store? Because even if they get more people interested in shopping with Joann, if those new customers go to the store and it's a mess, there's no customer service, there's not enough employees, everything's all over the place, or if they place an online order and that is also not a great experience, how helpful is it to do all of this marketing if they can't even get the fundamentals to be good? So that's another question I have. And I think another thing to keep in mind as well is there's the external factor that's out of Joann's control, and that is the economy. Things cost way more than even a few years ago. So if someone is paying twice as much as they were for groceries, they're going to have less money for hobbies or for non-essentials like craft supplies. You know, the cost of fabric, the cost of a lot of these items too in these stores has gone up. I can personally attest that the cost of buying, a lot of the cost for the items I stock in the Etsy shop has gone up. And, we also have to keep in mind that many businesses experienced unusually good, sales. There was an artificial boost to a lot of these businesses just because of the pandemic. And now we don't have that. So not only do we not have pandemic level spending just because everyone's at home, they got the time, they got extra money. Things are kind of shrinking. You don't have as much money for stuff. You don't have as much time. So will this help Joann's get out of the bind? I don't know. So I think it's interesting what they're doing. I don't know. I just don't know if all of that's going to really help. I don't know. All right, let's check out some of your comments and see what y'all are saying. Let's see here. All right, imagine what it will cost to replace every sign at every location. Well, I don't think they're changing the name of the business. I think this is just the name of their, like, marketing campaign, I guess. It's like Joann. I don't know. I think they could have come up with something better. I don't know. Looks like they're trying to appeal to young people. Yeah, it does seem like that for sure. Like, that's why they're also doing all that, like, TikTok, Instagram, Reel type marketing influencer stuff. Why make a planter when you can buy one in their home deck section? That's true. Yeah, exactly. Like, they're selling all this, like if they're trying to encourage people to make stuff, why are they selling all of these finished items, you know? I just don't get it. The Joann, as seems, is all over the place. Yeah. They never have any embossing, folders, dies. Yeah. All right. The and doesn't resonate. So a lot of you are like, what's up with this? I don't know. I feel like if my Joanns took out the four full aisles of home deck stuff, they would have a great craft sewing section for classes or make it takes. Yeah. It's like, why? I think that's the thing. Like, it seems to me like Joann's just has bigger fish to fry than like the marketing stuff. You know, revamp the inventory, like the items you have, and actually allot the stores enough employee hours to where they can actually do their jobs. It's like they're putting all kinds of stuff in the ad to see what might stick. Yeah, I'm like, this is just too much. I don't shop at a store based on their charitable partners. Bottom line, do they have what I need at the right price? I need quality fabrics and sewing supplies. Good point, Cal. Exactly. Like, it doesn't matter how much marketing they do or what kind of branding they do. If they don't have something you want to buy at a good price, you know, it's kind of all for nothing, I guess. I would pay $15 a yard for quality fabric. And you know, a lot of people would. I agree. One store can't tell what inventory they're going to get and when. To me, it would be helpful if they know that info from the system. Yeah. The best ads don't work if customer service and quality are low. I agree. Like, it doesn't matter how great their ads are, how great, like, their influencer marketing is. Like, if they can't get, like, decent stuff available in the stores, then, and have halfway decent customer service, then it's, you know, I don't know. I could totally stop buying crafting supplies and not run out of materials for the next year. I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't really need to purchase anything at this point. And I would be fine for probably years. I don't really... Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So, I mean, this is very strange. Yeah, I think the Joann is a take on the improved exercise of yes. And, like, I sort of get it, but I also find it a little bit confusing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I would like them to expand their fashion fabrics. That would be great. And I think the fabrics also need to be, like, nice quality, not just cheap. I see a lot of cheap polyester, and I don't think that's really resonating with anyone who's a serious sewist and makes their own clothes. If you're taking the time to make your own clothing, you don't really want low-quality polyester fabric. You want some very nice, you know, nice like, you want to sew with nice fabrics. And that's, I think what Joann's is really missing here is they need to really take a look at what they're selling and what customers want to purchase. You know, and also, who's your customer? Is it someone that's just making Halloween costumes one time and they'll use cheap fabric? Or is it someone who is a lifelong sewist who wants nice fabrics? Like, you really can't appeal to every single person. You know, I don't know. I think it's a mess. It's kind of a mess right now. I don't even know what to think. If they could carry less and better quality, it will attract. Yeah, the last time I was at Joann's, I didn't really see much I wanted to buy. You know, I really didn't. That's a good point. Good quality garment fabrics, so you can buy your pattern, fabric, and notions in one place. And there are, like, a lot of these big box stores, the notions they have are not great quality. Like, everything especially things like bag hardware or, like, you know, trim. A lot of it doesn't look like something I would purchase for a project or want to use in a project. If I'm sewing something, I want everything to be nice, and I just don't see a lot of stuff at Joann's that I think that's top quality or that's like really high end. It looks cheap. And I do think that's a problem. If you know how to sew and love to make your clothes, you do buy a Joann. And that's the thing, like, you kind of don't have it's one of the few options we have now for buying stuff. But yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't see a lot of fabric at Joann's that appealed to me. And when I went to the notions section, I was not super impressed with the stuff they have in the notion section. There's like less like established brands. There's all of these like in-house cheapo looking brands. And I do want to point this out. They have this brand at Joann's now. All right, so we're going to take a look at the Joann's website here. And look at, like, this does not scream, it's like 80% off clearance, up to 70% off July 4th doorbusters. Like, what are you doing, Joann's? What are you doing? But I do want to point out, they have this brand, it's an in-house brand called Happy Value. And I am very curious. I kind of want to place an order just to see. I might test out this brand just to see like how good or bad it is. It's this like low everyday price like value brand called Happy Value. So it's like save more, craft more, introducing pricing so low you don't need a coupon. It's this like cheap AF fabric, and it's like $2 to like $6 a yard. I'm super curious about it. Like, look at solid craft cotton fabric, $2 a yard. They've got like felts. They've got like ripstop knot. So this is their new in-house, like bottom of the barrel, cheap. Like this stuff looks cheap. I kind of want to order some just to do like a brutally honest review. I might do that for the main Sewing Report channel. They've got like some no-sew fleece blanket kits. Like, guys, yeah, I'm really curious. I probably will place an order this week just to see like how good or bad. Like it says, it doesn't even say it says craft fabric. Like what is this? What is this? $2 a yard. So I think you have to purchase at least 2 yards, I think. I don't know. Yeah, so if you buy it online, you have to buy at least 2 yards. $2 a yard. What are you going to get for, like, honest question, what are you going to get for $2 a yard? Is this going to be even good for me to make, like, towels, like, you know, tea towels or something? And how is this going to stand up in the washing machine? $2 a freaking yard. What am I going to get? Guys, I swear, I'm probably going to order it this week just to see. I will say, they do have $1.99 shipping on it seems like they're just trying to sell shit right now. What are you going to get for $2 a yard? I am so dying to know. And this is an everyday low price, so no coupons or anything. I might order like $20 worth of fabric and just see like what the heck this is. So they got fleece for $4 a yard. They have muslin fabric for $2 a yard. Like, what kind of I might order a few different types. Like, what the heck? $2 a yard. I mean, it does have 4.4 star reviews, so maybe it's not that bad. They got burlap, they got all kinds of stuff, but like what? So this is 36-inch width. So again, this is muslin fabrics. This is for like, you know, just playing around with in pattern making and stuff. But what do you, okay, oh, they have customer photos. Okay, so this is what you get. Yeah, that looks like it's about $2 a yard. So again, this is like a muslin. Man, $2 a yard. I mean, these people seem pretty happy with it for the price overall. I don't know. Has anyone tried this Happy Value brand? Let me know in the comments what was it like? Like, honest question, what was it like? And I will say, I've been lurking in the Joann subreddit, and the employees have been really roasting the Happy Value fabric. They're like, guys, it's bad. They have been reporting that it's pretty bad. I want to know, though, how bad is it? Like, how bad is the Happy Value fabric? I'm just really curious how, like, what it's like. Yeah, I might just buy some just to see what, you know, and I can always use it for, like, scrap fabric, I guess, but some of this stuff looks pretty, and they got, like, solid sport nylon fabric. I'm like, yeah. But yeah, have you tried this Happy Value brand? I want to know, has anyone here tried Happy Value fabric? And was it, like, really that bad? So let me know. If you're watching live, you're watching on the replay, I want to know what your experience was like with the Happy Value brand. I'm probably going to order some. Maybe my order will get canceled. I think I once ordered fabric from Joann, and it came, there was, like, a footprint on the fabric. I'm not joking. The fabric had, like, somebody had stepped on the fabric. There was, like, a shoe print on it in dirt. And I was like, what? This is wild. Like, how does this happen? How is there a footprint on this fabric? It was kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy. All right, I wanted to make infant tees, and the cotton fabric was not nice. Yeah, like, what? Well, like, where are they? They need to really, I think one thing Joann's could do is they need to reevaluate their, like, what they're stocking. They need buyers who actually know something. The buyers for the stores really need to do a 180 and start stocking things that are not complete crap. That's a problem. That's definitely a problem. Should I buy some and try to wash it to see, like, how it does in the laundry? Yeah, I don't know. All right, there is a subscription box that provides Joann Fabric. Some YouTubers report about how bad is the fabric. It looks kind of bad. Doesn't look great, you know? Most of the Happy Value fabrics for sale are the no-sew through. And I'll be real, like, some of the novelty fleece, it's just not for me. Like, I really have no reason to buy that stuff. Does it come with a free toy? I don't know. Yeah. It just looks like an overblown Hobby Lobby. Yeah, like, this fabric looks Happy Value brand looks rough. Like, yeah, ew. And, like, the burlap fabric, what's that gonna be like? Also, what do people really do with burlap? I've never really crafted with burlap fabric before. But, like, what? I'm just curious, like, what kind of projects do you do with burlap? Besides, like, maybe, like, table runners or, like, stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, this Happy Value brand, like, they're really promoting it, too. Like, this seems to be something they're, like, pretty all in on. And, like, the prints, they got this nylon. What do you do with the nylon fabric? Do you make tents? Do you make, like, windbreakers or something? This is 58 inches. Okay, so it's camping gear, bags and stuff. I don't even know. What is Joann? What are they doing? Oh, and this stuff isn't even that cheap. This stuff is like $8 a yard for, like, the fun colors. That's not even that cheap. Like, that's pretty expensive, guys. That's fairly expensive. What the frick is going on? Okay, so Christmas. What kind of Christmas crafts are you doing? That's interesting. Okay, I made a Wizard of Oz scarecrow costume with burlap. Okay. I mean, it's kind of scratchy fabric. Like, I don't know what I would do with it personally. All right, guys, this week, I'm probably going to order some Happy Value. Look at, they got the dinosaur no-sew fleece blanket. I guess I could make some rabbit beds out of it or something. I don't know. Do they have knit fabric? I'll look through and see what they have. But yeah, this fabric just looks like bottom of the barrel quality to me. And like the prints are pretty taste specific. I don't see a lot of stuff I would consider cute. Like red baseballs, frogs and mushrooms, frogs on blue craft fleece fabric. Like, this stuff looks pretty whack. I don't know. They got, like, planets, soccer balls. Like, is this just for you to make, like, really cheap blankets for, like, kids or something? I don't know. I don't even know if I would give this to children. I am sort of curious to get their no-sew fleece kit, though. For $6? What are you going to get for... Honest question, what are you going to get for $6? I'm just like, this is just wild. Oh, this is a construction no-sew fleece blanket. Okay, so it comes with like 2 pieces, and then you just do the, you just like cut it, and then I've actually never made a no-sew fleece blanket before, believe it or not. And I also want to know how will this wash? Like, will this survive one cycle in the washing machine and dryer? It says you can, okay, so this is funny. It says, on the care instructions, it says, machine wash normal cold, non-chlorine bleach, tumble dry low, do not iron. Okay, got that. Okay, so it just contains 2 pieces of 48-inch by 60-inch fleece fabric. Okay. Like, this is just wild. Alright, and then you just, like, cut it. You basically just cut it and then do the ties. Yeah, like, is this gonna launder well? I mean, I don't know. This brand looks so low rent to me. I don't even know. No shade at Joann's, but I'm just like... Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. Joann's has lost their minds. They have lost their minds. Burlap smells totally hell. I did buy something that came in a burlap bag, and it did kind of have like an odor to it or something. Yeah, I don't know. This is probably right. I guess they buy random closeouts and want us to buy it as good sewing stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Joann does not know what they're doing. They need to hire fashion school graduates as their buyers. They need better people doing this. Like, whoever's doing it now is, like, not... They're failing. Like, whoever... I'm sorry. But whoever is making the purchasing decisions for what is sold in the stores and online, it's an L. Take the L. It's, like, a big-ass fail. Like, it's just not... This is just not going well. Is the fleece fabric fire resistant? I'm gonna guess no. If I had to, let me check. But a lot of it, like if there was a fire, it would like melt to you, so that would be very painful. I don't think it is. I went to Joann's to buy a gallon of spray starch. $60. What the? $60? What is going on? What is $60? What the freak? That's so crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna guess the fleece is not... I mean, sometimes it's treated with like a flame retardant material. This doesn't really have... I don't see any instructions or safety information, so I don't know, but yeah, if you tried to burn like polyester, it would be like melting plastic. And it would probably, like, melt to your skin. It would be, like... It would be horrifying. It would be horrifying, yeah. Would not be good. Would not be good at all. So, yeah, so... I want to ask y'all, what do you think about this rebranding attempt? And actually, let's do a poll if you think the rebranding will help. Okay, let's do a poll here on YouTube. For all the YouTube peeps. I just want to know, will this, I want to know if you think this is going to help. All right, let's do a poll. Okay, will the Joe and Rebrand help turn the company around? Okay, and I'm not going to give you the easy out of no difference. We're going to have a binary yes, no. So we're going to have a binary yes and no. Okay. So it's we're going to have a very black, just very black and white options here. All right, so we'll see. All right, if you want to vote in the poll, you can now. Will this help? Like, again, I don't think inherently any of the things they're doing are, like, bad. I just don't know if they're going to make a difference. Because a lot of the problems Joann has now is really outside of those things. It's about the store experience. It's about the employees. It is about their ordering system. And it's about what they're selling. So if they don't change any of those things, plus there's the economical factors that's certainly outside of their realm altogether. So I don't know if that's actually going to be helpful. Okay, so far 93% of you say no, this will not help. Like, I just think it's like it seems like a futile effort. You know, again, like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. Like, did that really make a difference? Not really. It's like they're trying to, it's like they're trying to look like they're doing something and they're really not. It seems like it's kind of a waste of money. I think they would have been better off if they have used those resources to fix the stores and fix online ordering. Because a lot of y'all have said that your online orders were a cluster F, you know, that it was canceled, you didn't get all of the items you ordered, or if you did order fabric, it came in like 2 separate pieces and not as a continuous cut, and that's very strange. All right, lots of no's so far. Okay, so pretty much only 5% of you think this rebrand will help turn the company around. 95% no. We'll share these results, you know, and yeah, I hope this helps. I hope they can turn it around as well, because we don't really have a lot of options for sewing and craft supplies. We really don't. Fabric.com closed. A lot of quilt shops and fabric stores are not doing very well. A lot of small businesses have closed. So, yeah, it's things are not going well. Yeah, not all fabric for children. Yeah, like a lot of stuff it'll say, and even some of the fabrics I got in from like Cloud9 Fabrics, it says on the salvage, you know, it says on the bolt, it says not for children's sleepwear, or like, was it not for children's sleepwear or something else, you know? So they're trying to tell you, don't leave your children, don't make anything for children where they'll be unattended. So there's that. There's that. Yeah, a lot of us want them to do better. I use quilting fabric and especially pre-cuts. Joanna's low quality see-through fabric. Fabric for costumes is fine. There's the thing, yeah, like the fabric is okay if it's like a one-time use, you know, we're like just making a Halloween costume, but if you're looking to make anything that has longevity, Joann's ain't it for the supplies. Joann's ain't it. It's pretty, yeah. All right, I'm gonna get some water real quick. But yeah, I'm a little bit confused by the rebrand. I don't know what they're doing over there. Like, I I'm like, what is going on? What is going on with this company? And keep in mind, it is still being controlled by a private equity group and their creditors now. That's like really who's in charge. The interim CEO is a guy who went to the University of Phoenix and works for like a consulting firm. And they put a bunch of people on the board with some like retail experience and all of that jazz. So I feel like covering this is like covering a it's just like covering an ongoing disaster. Like I wish I had more positive news to report. A lot of their decisions have just been very baffling to me. And it doesn't even seem like it would be that hard to turn things around, you know? It doesn't even seem that hard. Yeah, I would agree. And I will say, as a Florida resident, I really don't have a need for fleece very much. I have some fleece I purchased like 5 years ago, and I don't need any more. So I'm definitely not one of the fleece buying customers out there. For the most part, I don't really know. And if y'all have been to a Joann's recently, let me know what your experience. Let me know what your experience was like. Was it good, bad? Like what all happened? No, I don't think do these people even know anyone that sews or crafts? I have no words. I have no words for Joann's. And I know some people are like, you're covering this way, but like, look, there's something going on, and we're seeing the downward spiral of Joann Fabrics in real time, and that's what's going on. You know, Joann's is now the lol cow of the sewing and craft industry. Like, this is a freaking joke. This is a freaking joke. I don't even know. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Christian, interesting profile picture there. Cheap and chunky, yeah. I don't know. I feel the most important thing they sell is fabric. Yeah, if the quality is low, the company, like, and their fabrics look really freaking, again, that Happy Value brand, I'm like, that looks, I think my next video for the main channel is going to be trying out the Happy Value fabric brand. I only need to spend like $20 since everything's like $2 and the shipping is $1.99. So I'll take one for the team and try out the fabric because it seems really freaking, yeah, it seems really bad. Yeah, and the last time I was there, like, the people there were very nice, but yeah, there was like random stuff everywhere. The inventory didn't make a lot of sense. They also had a bunch of random kids' toys at a craft and fabric store. Y'all don't need to be selling puzzles and stuffed animals and, you know, they got Beanie Babies. They were selling caboodles, cosmetics organizers. They sell, like, they're trying to sell, like, way too much of random stuff, in my opinion. Oh my gosh, yeah. Alright, yeah. They have a $500... what if you have a coupon, Christiane? What if you got a 40% off coupon? Would that be cool? If you had get a discount on the skeleton? The candy is interesting. Yeah, the candy, I don't really get the candy. The last tweet on their X account was May 17th to 20. So I guess they don't really have anyone monitoring that one. I don't even know. This is all right, let's take a look at the poll. Oh boy. Yeah, 94% of you say no, the Joann rebrand will not help. All right, so 94% of you really don't think that's going to help. Okay, interesting. We'll keep the poll going for a little bit here. We got 35 of you voting. Yeah, the skeleton, I agree. The skeleton is going to be like $100 if you wait a couple weeks. So if you're interested in that, let's take a look at is the skeleton on their website? Let's see here. I want to see if it's online. Can you order it online? All right, it's online. All right. And it's already on sale. Okay, guys. What? All right, we got to take a look at the skeleton page here. Okay, let's take a look at this. All right. Oh my god. All right, so here is the $500 skeleton. It's now on sale for $299. This is the 8-foot. Can you get this shipped, or can you buy this only in store? They also have a 5-foot one. A werewolf. Who is? All right. This is an interesting. This is what we're talking about here with the inventory that doesn't make sense. All right, they have a 5-foot white werewolf skeleton. That's about $71. An 11-inch Halloween skeleton standing pygmy goat. All right, when was the last time you asked yourself, I really need a goat skeleton for my Halloween decor in June? When was the last time? This stuff is so bizarre. Oh my gosh. All right, they have a skeleton mermaid for $30. A skeleton pig, a skeleton person knitting with a cat. WTF, like what? They have 169 results too, so they have more. Like they don't need this. Oh my gosh, what in God's name is all of this stuff? 5-foot Halloween LED animated pumpkin head skeleton. All right, we gotta look at the 8-foot skeleton there. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you can order this online. I wonder how much the shipping is for this. Oh, and you can get 10%. Oh yeah, you can get 20% off with the code. So this is gonna end up being like, I don't know, like $200. Okay, so this is an 8-foot Halloween animated skeleton. Holy crap, what? Oh my god. All right, so here's the photos. Wow. It talks and laughs. Yeah, I really want to put this out in front of my house. Jeez. Oh my gosh. Joann, this is a fabric and craft store? What is going on? In full disclosure, I'm not really a Halloween person. So this really wouldn't appeal to me anyways, but good God, what? Oh my gosh. What's with all the Halloween stuff? All right, so it says spook your trick-or-treaters with the 8-foot Halloween animated skeleton by place and time. Get ready to give your trick-or-treaters a scare they won't forget with the 8-foot Halloween animated skeleton. This life-size skeleton is perfect for creating a spooky display in your garden or front porch. With its natural hue and light-up eyes, it's sure to make your visitors think twice before entering your home. Pair the Halloween animated skeleton with fake cobwebs and spiders for an even more frightening effect. This prop is perfect for Halloween parties or for scaring your friends and family. Made of polypropylene and high-density polyethylene. Wow. Like, I have no... Like, Joann's, the Rebrand is not the issue. It's that you're selling this. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Why are you spending money to buy wholesale skeletons? Like, this just... What? How many of these are they going to sell? What is going on? Like, I don't know. I don't even know. Should I buy one of these for the sewing report set? Like, I could get one and, like, have it in the background here? I don't know. I mean, this is the, like, if you're looking for the that seems glaringly obvious. The problem is stuff like that. The fact that you had 168 search results for skeleton at Joann Fabrics, like, that's the problem. Just stop with the nonsense. Stop selling random crap like skeletons. Like, what the hell? And by the way, I probably will clip this segment for, you know, I don't know, because it would be fun. Why is Joann selling an 8-foot animatronic skeleton? That's just... I don't even know. I don't even know what to say to that, but that's crazy. That's just super crazy. All right, we'll see what the price of the Ditto is. All right, let's see here. Let's see, Ditto. It's probably, I don't know. You could probably, they're probably giving it away at this point. I have no, like this store, like the I mean, it's kind of comical, but it's also very sad. I'm just like, I don't even, all right, so it's still... All right, it's still around $2.99. So, I mean, hey, if you're looking to pick it, which, by the way, I still have not opened mine yet, which is a travesty. That's how motivated I have been to, I don't know, I'm off the rails, guys. I'm off the rails. So, yeah, the Ditto is $2.99. Also, it's been on sale even deeper on the Singer website. So, if you are looking to get it even cheaper, I've seen it lower on the Singer/Ditto website. So, I'm able to get it cheaper. I live in the UK, but Jen has me so invested in the Joann. Well, I am glad, Kadeen. I'm glad that you can look at us and laugh at the absurdity in American companies. Like, this is just bizarre. I've been buying the sewing patterns. I was there on 6/27. I bought McCall's and Butterick sewing patterns for $1.99. So at least I've got some good deals on those. I saw the skeletons when I was there. I couldn't, like... All right, honest question. All right, we'll do another poll. We're going to do a poll about the skeletons here. All right, we'll stop the poll about... So at this point, we're at 91% no, the rebrand will not help. We're going to do another poll here. I want to know how many of you would be interested in buying Halloween skeleton decor. Okay. Okay, are you interested in purchasing Halloween skeleton decor? Okay. I want to know how many of y'all are actually interested in buying skeletons. Like, is this a thing? All right, so new poll up for the YouTube viewers here. Who wants to buy skeletons? All right, okay. Who wants to buy Halloween? And again, if you do, that's cool. But why is it being sold at Joann Fabrics? I mean, there's that Spirit Halloween store. You can get them at those places. Home Depot sells Halloween decor. Target, Walmart. Why does Joann Fabrics need to get in on the skeleton decor market? And is that the same customer as a sewist or a crafter? I'm just curious. I'm really curious. Who wants to buy skeletons, you know? They seem to have no weekly ad at this time. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. Could the skeleton be a dress form for skinny people? I mean, I guess you could use it as like a model. Maybe if you're, you know, might be interesting for social media. You could dress up the skeleton in different outfits and stuff. I don't know. It would have been good at the campground haunted hayride. You know, that's true. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. All right, so here's a comment. We already sold the Groundbreaker skeleton. I don't even know what that is. People are huge into Halloween, with many putting up the more goth decor year-round. Year-round? Really? You might find it weird, but there's a huge market for them. All right, look, I have no problem with people being into Halloween decor. My question, though, is why is it being sold at a fabric and craft store? Again, it would make sense like Halloween fabric, Halloween craft supplies. But again, if you are a company that just filed for bankruptcy and is coming out of a bankruptcy, Why do you need to sell an 8-foot animatronic skeleton? Honest question there. Honest question. All right. If I have a spare $500, I'm buying a new sewing machine. Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally get it. But here's the thing. It would make more sense for Home Depot to sell the skeleton. It just, to me, it just doesn't make as much sense for a craft and fabric store to sell skeleton figurines. Again, I think Target makes sense because Target is more of like an everything store. But I do think Joann's needs to narrow down the focus a little bit and stop trying to be, like, they need to stop trying to be Target and Walmart. Like, what next? Is Joann's gonna start selling groceries and frozen pizzas? Like, come on. Like, open a restaurant? Like, what are they gonna... They keep trying to sell, like, too much super random stuff. Like, it's just too much. You know? I do like it when they have 50% off scissors. Yeah, who doesn't, you know? Who doesn't, you know? All right, hi Jen. Sorry I missed the first hour, but sounds like crazy is still going with you. Yeah, it's that's correct, and that is correct, Denise. We've now gotten to the skeletons, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think there's a store called Spotlight in the UK. There may be others, but I have heard a lot of people talking about Spotlight, I believe. Now look, no, again, I have absolutely no problem with the skeleton community. My question though is, why does a fabric and craft store have to sell skeleton figurines? Like, especially if they're struggling financially, they owe tons of creditors money. I'm just saying maybe they should sort of try to narrow their focus and figure it out. You know, I don't know. You know, again, Spirit Halloween totally makes sense. Fabric store, I don't know. Joanna, my neighborhood, is near what will be a Spirit seasonal Halloween store come fall. Joanne leadership thinks this will help people get people into their stores. I don't know. Like, again, I think it makes sense for Joann's to push, like, stuff to make your own Halloween costume, maybe to make your own trick-or-treat bags, that kind of stuff. I don't know. We lost our R.I.P. Spirit Halloween store. Oh my gosh, yeah. You know, I'm not, like, big, I like candy, don't get me wrong. I'm just not, like, I'm not a big Halloween person. I don't have kids. I kind of stopped giving out Halloween candy, don't judge me. It's just not really my thing, you know? Yeah, where do people in the UK get their fabrics? Thankfully, in San Francisco, we have local stores, shows like Fabric Warehouse and Fabrics on Clement. Yeah, I don't know. I believe they have a store called Spotlight. I don't know what else they have going. Yeah, Joann's, they could, you know, actually, a coffee bar would make more sense than some of the stuff they're doing. Like, if it could be a place for you to hang out, have a coffee, you know, hang out, you know, just meet people, like, just chill there. I actually think a coffee bar would make more sense than selling skeletons or doing this weird rebrand. I don't know. I am confused. What is Joann's branding going forward? Apparently they're just going with this Joann campaign. I don't know. Like, I'm just confused about it myself. I don't really get it. I just don't get it. All right, in the UK, we have Hobbycraft, which sells some more basic fabrics, fat quarters, etc. Then we have a lot of independent fabric shops. Yeah, and it seems like you guys do have a lot of, like, cool, small fabric stores or online shops. I've seen quite a few, and it looks really cool. Oh, here we go. If they're going to sell skeletons, they need to sell patterns for making skeleton costumes. To promote sewing and fabric sales. Now I want one. Hey, yeah, they could go all in on that, you know. Yeah, that's true. We also have a problem with waste fabric. Yeah, I try to avoid cheap fabric. Yeah. Yeah, like, yeah, if they're going to sell the skeletons, they should sell, like, promote, like, hey, make some outfits for your although in my neighborhood, circling back to the HOA conversation, we're not allowed to have holiday decor Like, we're very limited. I wouldn't be allowed to keep a skeleton up all year round because I could get fined by my HOA. So they have got like certain dates that you can have, like, you know, Christmas decor up, you know, other types of decor. So in my neighborhood, you're not allowed to have seasonal decor up like all the time. Like, I couldn't have Christmas lights on my house all the time just because of the HOA stuff. It's kind of, it's kind of a mess. Yep. Yeah. All right, I'm going to get some water real quick. Quite a conversation tonight. I didn't expect to be talking about skeletons, but here we are. When Joann acquired Cloth World 30 years ago, it was a sad day. Cheap fabrics started coming in and never stopped. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at now. It is really hard to find quality fabric now. And I do want to give a quick plug to the Sewing Report Etsy shop, because if y'all don't know, I now have some apparel fabric in the Sewing Report Etsy shop. So this is nice quality apparel fabric. So I've got some cotton sateen, I've got some sheeting fabric, rayons, and very nice quality organic cotton interlock knit. So if you are looking for some good quality apparel fabric, sewingreport.etsy.com helps support the show here. Yes, this is hashtag self-sponsored here. Self-sponsored. Coffee bar and hangout would be so much fun. I could get into that with others. So yeah, like that would be like a coffee bar, you know, sort of it, you know, if they had like a, you know, sort of like how they have a Starbucks in some of the Targets. If you could get a coffee, hang out, check out some of the stuff, you know, I think there's a lot Joann's could do to improve the in-store experience. And they're not doing that. You know, the stores don't seem to be appealing places these days, that's for sure. All right, well, moving on to another topic. Last week I did delve into the whole situation with was sort of a patent controversy where a patent holder with a with protection over a certain type of applique embossed embroidery technique was threatening some other content creators with takedowns on their content who were doing techniques that appeared to be fairly similar. I don't know how similar, but I clipped that segment and it got a lot of response. If you haven't seen it, it's also on the channel and you can watch that. But I did a lot of research this week, and I was fully upfront with the fact that if I was to do anything more with this particular story, one, it's going to take a while, and two, it would be there's a slim chance that I would be able to do anything more on it. But I did learn a lot more about patents in the past week. I did talk to a couple of people that were kind of involved in the whole situation. And I've been really trying to learn a little bit more about the patent situation and patents in general. And I did find a video that I think would be really helpful, and we're going to watch a little bit of it. I did recommend it in the community, on the community tab here on the channel. But I think this would be pretty interesting to go over, especially because I think some of you were frustrated with me for not making more like opinionated statements or, you know, making statements of fact. And I just want to be completely upfront. Obviously, I'm not an attorney, and I'm just not very comfortable with making a lot of strong statements on an area of law that, one, I'm really not that familiar with, and two, I'm obviously not an expert in by any means. So again, I think we can have opinions on something, but I am not comfortable really spouting out speculation or, you know, really going hard on something that I am just unsure about. So I know a lot of y'all were in the comments, and it would be very hard for me to cover this in an in-depth way without the actual analysis of a patent attorney. And I also want to preface this by saying, before I go any further into this particular topic, in order to protect myself, the patent holder who has been going after people seems to be rather litigious. So I just ask you nicely, please do not leave any chats or comments doxing the patent holder. Do not name them. Do not provide any identifying info that could leave me open to a risk. So I just ask kindly, I know the patent is public and a publicly available site. It's publicly available on the USPTO website, government website, but I'm not comfortable with having any identifying info on the patent holder here. So please do not name them or provide any specific information about this individual, just because I'm really trying to be careful to not open myself up for legal threats as well. Okay, so yeah, I agree with this. Patents are a very confusing area, even attorneys I used to talk with. And I also did talk with a few different attorneys in the past week or so. And there are a lot of attorneys out there, but from what I understand, if they're not a patent attorney, their analysis wouldn't really be very helpful because it is such a specific area of law. So some of y'all were like, you need to reach out to like Legal Eagle or Emily D. Baker. And I do just want to point out a couple things. It wouldn't be helpful because neither of them are patent attorneys. And the other thing you have to realize is that fellow YouTube creators with like way bigger channels than me, I'm not going to even bother trying to reach out to them because they're just not going to get back to me, and they shouldn't, because again, I don't take that personally at all, but me reaching out to someone with huge channels, it's just like it would be kind of a waste of time. They're not going to get back to me. I would not expect them to get back to me. They wouldn't be helpful because they're not patent attorneys, and it would be kind of considered sort of cringe to do that sort of thing. So I'm not going to do that. So if I do get in touch with someone, it would specifically have to be a patent attorney. I called the patent office, and there's so many hoops to go through to even get all the information, about the decisions and the patent holder claims for the patent. It's pretty complicated. It's pretty complicated. Okay, so the video I'm going to be showing you actually does have Kurt from Uncivil Law in it. I had some very, very brief contact with Kurt this week. He's a very busy person. So I don't want to get your hopes up. I really don't want to get your hopes up, but I do think he would have the type of insight I would need to break this down. But he's a busy guy. He's covering an ongoing trial. So if I am able to really connect with Kurt, it's not going to be for a while. All right, so let's go over the video. So this is a video from a few years ago that Kurt did with another content creator named Eric Hunley. Eric is not an attorney, but he does cover a lot of like news and legal stuff. So I want to bring this up here. So we'll do that. Let me bring this up. And I did reach out to Eric, and he did give me permission to react to this video, which was cool of him. He seems like a very nice person. So we're gonna be watching a little bit of this. Here, I'll try to full screen this in a little bit. And just a quick, just a quick thing. Eric was very gracious in allowing me to react to this video, but in order for me to like react to it and for it to be like for me to have more of a fair use case, I'm gonna have to like start and stop it. So I'm not gonna be reacting to the entire thing. This video is linked below in the description box, and I would encourage you to watch it in its entirety. This video is from 2020, so it is from a few years ago. I do think all of the information is still very relevant. And just some background knowledge, Kurt, so Eric is on the left and Kurt is on the right. Kurt, at the time of shooting this interview, was working for the United States Patent and Trade Office. Since then, he is no longer with the organization, with the department, because he is a full-time content creator, I believe. So at the time, he was working for the USPTO, but he is no longer with them. All right, so we're gonna watch some. I just found this really fascinating, and I learned a lot I actually did learn quite a bit by watching this interview. All right, so we're gonna react to like a little bit of it. Not all of it, but we'll react to some of it. So, and I am gonna be like kind of start and stopping this to sort of interject with like my own reaction. But I just wanted to show this to you because a lot of y'all were talking about patents and legal stuff. And I also think this really clears up a lot of maybe questions we have or misconceptions. I know a lot of people get confused about intellectual property, the differences between like copyright, trademark, and patents. So I do think this is going to be super interesting, and that's why I wanted to show it to you. But thank you, Eric, for doing this interview because I thought it was super cool. And I'm really nerdy about stuff. I just thought this was really fascinating. Okay. All right, here we go.
With Kurt of Uncivil Law. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Having a decent day. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I met you briefly on Viva Fry's channel, and your history.
I read and write a lot.
Okay.
In computer-based and
person and things like that. But I've been wanting to have you on because your history and current job, I believe, is working in patent law.
That is my day job. Is in utility patents, particularly in computer-based and software related specifically to database and search applications. So,
all right. So Kurt, so you can see he worked with utility patents. So he was actually a patent examiner with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. So that is the branch of the government that grants patents, including the patent person we're talking about with the embroidery, applique pat, 3D applique embroidery patent. So I think Kurt will give us a lot of background info as to how this agency operates. So, all right, I'm excited about this. I watched this like more than once. I just thought it was super cool.
So it's very esoteric and very specific, but yeah, that's what I do in my day job. I read and write a lot.
So it's your fault.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
my fault.
All your fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
you are Oracle's friend, right?
Well, I'm whoever's friend I need to be at any given time, right? You know.
All right. Well,
who's on the right side of the equation? Yeah.
Let's go back because I don't understand a lot of it, and I'd love to find out, you know, your path getting there. I understand you went to law school in like Clemson, something like that.
Clemson was my undergrad.
Two undergrads, though.
Yeah, I got two undergrads. That's right.
Okay, poli-sci and computer sci.
Correct. Yeah, I got a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and then a Bachelor of Science in Political Science. Correct. Then I went to Akron for law school with a heavy intellectual property concentration. And I've been doing the patent law thing ever since. One of the things that makes patent law a little bit different is you have to have a technical degree to do it. So you have to have that underlying technical degree to be a patent lawyer. And so there's not very many patent lawyers. And as a result, you know, it's a more specialized field.
Yeah, I heard that's where all the money is. And my father-in-law, who's a lawyer, said that that's the big money.
There's some money in that field, yes.
And he was a lawyer working for the government. So he was an in-house government lawyer working on helicopter programs and things like that. So
sure.
He probably ran across you guys at one point or another himself. Now, one thing that kind of blew my mind is I was listening to you, I think it was with Nick Ricada, and you had mentioned that you...
Oh boy. Since this was 2020, this is way before the Nick Ricada situation, so kind of a blast from the past there, that's for sure.
took the patent bar before you even had graduated law school.
Yeah. So patent law is weird that way, and it's always been weird that way. It's one of those weird aspects of law. But yeah, to do patent law, you technically don't have to be a lawyer at all. You have to have the technical degree, but you actually don't have to have the law degree. It's one of those weird little things because it's so specialized, and there's not enough people to go around, not enough lawyers with the technical degree, at least in part. Yeah, with just a technical degree, you can do it. So yeah, you can take this thing called the patent bar as long as you have a technical degree, and you can basically be a patent lawyer. Now in the U.S., they call them patent agents to avoid the confusion with people who have law degrees, but they are in practice the same thing.
Okay, so notice a couple things he said that stuck out to me is there are not a lot of patent attorneys in the United States, so it seems like there is a shortage of people with this expertise, and that's definitely what I'm running into personally. You have to have a technical degree, so it can't be like in the arts or anything like that. Like I was a communications major, so I couldn't be if I wanted to be, I couldn't be a patent attorney. So he does say like you are required to have some sort of technical, a college degree in undergrad in order to practice patent law. So it can be anything from like hard sciences, computer science, engineering, anything like that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I did not know that. They also have a separate bar exam. So they take a different bar exam than other types of attorneys. And also he said you technically don't even have to go to law school. You could just, I guess, take the exam. Of course, most of them do go to law school. But I just found that super interesting that you don't have to, that they have, it's a very distinct area of law and so separate that they have a different bar exam. In fact, I was talking to an intellectual property attorney this week who I'm excited because I'm supposed to interview him in the next upcoming week for a video here. But yeah, I thought it was interesting, and I didn't realize there was a lot of money in patent law. That's pretty cool too. So let's keep watching here.
That's very weird.
Yeah,
very weird.
It's a little bit of a weird thing. But it's been that way since they invented it. Yeah, since the Venetians invented patent law in the 15th century. They were the first. So since the Venetians invented it in the 15th century, yeah, that's been the way it's been.
Okay, and that's great first question here, but technical degree as in
some sort of hard science degree, so engineering, any engineering degree, chemistry, physics, computer science in my case, some sort
biology.
of what you'd call a hard science degree.
How about biology or
biology? Would that be fine? Sure. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you have the biologists who do. Yeah, you have biology, chemistry, the mechanical engineers, mechanical people, electrical. So technically, computer science in this domain is considered a subset of the electrical arts. So those are the big fields. But you have to have some sort of what's called hard science degree. So you have to have, calculus and physics and those kinds of.
So gender studies wouldn't fall in the category.
What's that?
Gender studies wouldn't.
That would not be a thing that would qualify. No. Nuclear engineering, anything that ends in the word engineering will probably be fine.
Okay. Now, is that essentially every degree that would somehow be involved with creation of something or another?
Sure. So when you're thinking about what a patent fundamentally is going to, it's to what's called a useful art. That's the language the Constitution uses. So that's what we now call technology. It would be the more modern phrasing. So it's something, it has to be useful. It has to do something. It has to have utility. It has to be, for example, one of the differences between like a copyright and patent is like copyrights aren't useful. They don't do anything. So, like a movie, Harry Potter, or even the book, Harry Potter, it doesn't do anything. It's a book. It's a movie. It's words on a page. It doesn't do anything. It might have some meaning to you, but it doesn't do anything. As opposed to widgets that do things. So new chemicals, new manufacturing techniques, new gears, new widgets, new things that actually do some sort of, they change the world in some way by their existing.
Okay, and we're going to dig into it later when I talk about patent trolls about exactly.
Okay, so I'm excited because they do actually get into the topic of patent trolls, and I found that part really, yeah, I was like, that seems very, it's weird because this interview was like 4 years ago, and they're bringing up a topic that's kind of hot in our community right now. And another question I would have for, if I could talk to Kurt, I would really want to know how much of a working knowledge the patent examiner needs to have for patent applications they're reviewing. So if someone was reviewing a patent on sewing or embroidery, how much of a working knowledge, like, do they would they be required to have a working knowledge of those disciplines or, processes in order to understand the application? Like, how is that a requirement, or could someone approve and review a patent application for, say, a 3D applique embroidery process if they didn't know anything about embroidery? Is it possible that the patent examiner wouldn't really know much about that, or would they be required to have some working knowledge of whatever thing they're looking at? I don't know. So I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, let's keep going here.
What usefulness some of the patents that come
Sure.
across actually have. Good question in here, though. Does the technical degree dictate what patents you deal with?
It doesn't necessarily dictate, but it gives you, I mean, technically speaking, you can do anything in any field once you have the degree, but it would strongly correlate because you have the requisite technical knowledge to understand what you're looking at. So because my technology background is computer science, which is considered to be a subset of the electrical arts. So anything electrical engineering, I can do in a pinch. Anything computer related, it's fine. I could probably do a mechanical if I really had to, because I have some of the requisite degrees, but you put a chemistry thing in front of me and I'm going to die. I don't understand chemistry. I failed chemistry. I don't understand chemistry on any level. It hurts my mind. So chemistry and I did not get along. So when I look at a new piece of a new plastic, for example, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm reading.
Okay. Can we get into a breakdown of the different intellectual categories? Because honestly, I think I have a general idea, but obviously you can offer a lot more. Like, what is a copyright versus a service mark versus a patent versus fill in the blank?
Yeah, so the major three domains of intellectual property are patent law, trademark law, and copyright law. So patent law protects things that are useful, things that have utility, things that do stuff, things that provide some sort of real world use. So that's inventions, that's technology, that's patent law. Copyright is to artistic works. They're things that's, they're books, they're movies, they're songs, they're things that have artistic creativity, but no artistic, no utility beyond that. So they're artistically interesting or inspiring, but they're not useful in the strictest sense. And then trademark deals with brand name. So it's brand recognition. So trademark extends to the name of something, and the primary purpose of it is to protect the consumer. So if you have whatever opinion you have of BMW, for example, or Apple might be a better example, because they sometimes are accused of having this halo around their name.
Okay, so that's really good information, and I see people confusing those things all the time. But he had a really good breakdown, very easy to understand, and that is that patents protect utility or things that are useful. Copyright is for artistic creativity type stuff like books, movies, paintings, that sort of thing. And then trademarks basically protect brand names, like name recognition, like Coca-Cola, like the Louis Vuitton logo, Nike, the name, the swoosh logo. So that's a really good distinction of the different areas of intellectual property. And yeah, I see a lot of people confusing those things a lot, but I think Kurt really explained them That was a very good, simple breakdown. So what does everybody think about this video so far? I think it's super interesting. I'm fascinated by this kind of thing. So I do hope this is, helpful to you all, because I just thought it was really, especially with all of the conversations that were going in the comments of the patent legal threats video I put out. I just think I think this offers a lot of good background color that's helpful to us. All right, so we're gonna keep going here.
Their name. So because it is produced by Apple, if Apple comes out with a new product, people will buy it because it comes from Apple. That brand name has a reputation. And for better or worse, and whatever your personal opinion of Apple might be, maybe you hate them, but then at least you know that you're going to hate this new product because it was produced by Apple, right? So the whole point is to identify the source of the goods to the consumer, so they're not tricked. So if some guy opens the Apple shop, that might be unfair to the consumers because they think they're getting something that they're not.
Right, unless it's produce.
Yeah,
if it is in fact
produce.
And Apple themselves had to go through it because of Apple Records.
Yeah, sure. So and also trademarks tend to be in particular domains. So as long as they're in different categories, there's usually not a problem. So you can have a trademark in one domain but not another.
Right, but if I recall, Apple did ultimately cross swords with Apple Records because of the iPod, and they started to sell music, and they were seen as going into the Apple Records domain. Yeah,
which was part of their original settlement with Apple Music never to do that. So they were not only in violation of the trademark, they were in violation of their prior agreement with Apple Music.
I'm guessing, though, it wasn't at the time, but when you're headed to become a $1 trillion plus company, you kind of were just pay.
They just gave them a big pile of money.
Yeah,
gave them a big pile of money.
Here, we'll give you a rounding errors amount. You'll be all right.
But I can give you a very famous case from trademark law that most people wouldn't know about to show you how these things can be interesting. So there's a fairly famous case of Burger King versus Burger King. So there's a guy in a shop somewhere, I think it's in Illinois, but I'd have to double check, and I think it's still there, who had the Burger King name first before the Burger King name you know and love. So this guy was opening a restaurant run called Burger King. Then the Burger King that you know about came about separately and got a national trademark. But because they had priority in their locality, they both couldn't compete against the other. So Burger King couldn't own any shops where the Burger King is, and Burger King couldn't open any shops where the Burger King was, because they both had priority over the other with respect to their domains. So it's a very famous case in trademark law.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How about the Breyers dryers?
Yeah. So the same kind of things where you get these fights among companies, fights among names, and confusion in the marketplace and what people do or do not understand and how sophisticated the consumer is, another aspect. So if you're selling to the general public or to an unsophisticated audience versus a very sophisticated audience that would know the difference, there's some different analysis there. But it's all down to it's all fundamentally down to consumer confusion. So if you go into, I don't know what a business that would not be competing with Apple computers off the top of my head, if there was
anymore.
Apple window drapes, I don't know, but you probably would not confuse that with the Apple Computer Company,
right? So
that might be okay.
Yeah, or the Apple Farmers Market.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
but yeah, it's getting rarer and rarer and rarer, and who knows? I mean, we can't even have Apple Automotive anymore.
Yeah, that was another example that came to mind, and I had to pass that over because I know they're getting into that space thing. So it's like, what is something that they're not doing that they're unlikely to do? I'm going to go with. I thought about clothing. I was like, no, wait a second, they sell merch, so that doesn't work. So I thought about watches. I'm like, no, they sell watches. What don't they sell? So I had to think of something.
My soul. No.
Yeah.
Give them time. Actually, that leads into a great long-term controversial issue, and that's Disney's seemingly forever copyright on Mickey Mouse. And Kevin Walker asks, why does Disney get to bribe Congress to extend their trademark protection for Mickey Mouse, etc.? 50 years is the limit, correct?
Yeah, so this is one of these things where you have to be careful in terms, because different things mean different things. So the thing there is copyright, not trademark. Okay. Trademark exists only for 10 years at a time, but it's infinitely renewable. So they only get it for 10 years at a time, but they can keep coming back and asking for it indefinitely. Copyright is life plus 70 these days, if memory serves correctly. And yeah, every time their copyright has come close to expiring for Steamboat Willie, which would be their first work with Mickey Mouse, they've always got an extension. The last one was the Sony Bono Copyright Extension Act. And I think it is expiring this upcoming year if memory isn't tricking me. So we'll see if they get another extension. But fundamentally, why can they bribe Congress? Well, that's a very charged way of putting it.
Sure.
Everyone has the right under the First Amendment to petition the government for redress of grievances. And so they would like to petition the government for their redress of grievances, namely that their copyright is about to expire and they'd like it not to very much. So there you go.
Okay, so in your field though, do you actually work with all of these, or are you pretty narrow on just the patent side?
No, I'm very, very narrow in my field. Not only patent, but specifically computer databases and search engines. So I'm pretty specialized in my field. Okay. So if I deal with stuff that's doing a search somewhere in the background.
Okay, so you can see here, Kurt. Again, at the time he did this interview, he was a patent examiner with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, and his background was in computer science. So that was the type of patents he looked at. So I'm just wondering, just from my perspective, the people who are looking at patent applications for anything having to do with sewing or embroidery or like machines, I'm just wondering how much of a working knowledge of those areas they would have to in order to be able to know what they're looking at if they're reviewing those types of patents. So, all right, let's keep going here. But really, isn't this interesting stuff? Oh, and if you are kind of tuning in late, I normally will cover a few different topics during the show. So if you want to check out the Joann stuff, you can always kind of rewind the show. Like this is sort of like a DVR, or you can catch the replay later. But normally I'm not usually just talking about like one topic. The title, I usually will advertise like the main topic, but I will normally cover like a few different things, just so if you want to understand the format here. All right, let's keep watching here.
Whether that's on a cell phone or user device, whether it's the user putting in the search or it's automated, whether it's from a camera or a keyboard, but somewhere there's a search against a database. And that's typically what my field is. So it's very specialized.
Who ultimately owns a patent on a database, though?
Well, you're asking a little bit of an unfair question. I mean, no one owns a patent on the database, on databases as a general concept. They own it on particular manifestations of a database. So the one way to think about that might be to say, who owns a patent on car engines? I mean, that's ridiculous. But to say who owns a patent on a particular kind of car engine, well, we can ask that question because people come up with new engine designs, new valve designs, and new all kinds of designs. And so there might be an answer to like who owns this particular engine because it's a new kind of engine. So in the same way, you say, well, who owns this database? I mean, the person who invented it, the person who came up with a new way of doing it. And sometimes it's very esoteric to solve a very particular problem.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because I do a little bit of it. And I mean, a lot of this is, there's going to be a ton of prior art out there going on back to Unix community and prior. And I know Larry Ellison will tell you he owns everything probably.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of database stuff that was open source community created. And that's why I'm kind of like trying to get my head around it. I understand that there's maybe specificity in language and methodology that you could own that's not necessarily part of ANSI. And now I'm probably getting too deep into it, but is that what we're talking about? Is like methodologies of the way a functionality is performed by Oracle's, let's say, versus SQL Server in retrieval of data?
Yeah, and the retrieval of data, the memory management related to data, dealing with how different systems interop with each other, conversion of data from systems, redundancy of data, the failover orders, what is done on the server side, what's done on client side, orders of
Caching.
operations, search engine, and sort of big O notation kind of ideas about search engine optimization. But it can get very, very specific in terms of trying to solve a very particular problem.
Now that kind of starts to get down another path because, well, you're now in Texas, so you're in the same state as a particular breed of creature that is known as patent trolls.
Yes.
And one famous run-in involved podcasting. I started as a podcaster before doing YouTube stuff. And let's just say that they had from what I understand, a patent on something about episodic content being put into order.
Mm-hmm.
And sued Adam Carolla, Mark Maron, and everybody else for something that most people in technology would argue had been around well before any patent. I guess where I'm going, it's a long way about it, is how do you get a patent on an idea or a concept without actually generating anything? Just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we could do fill in the blank and then patent it, and then somebody else does the work to actually create something that does that, and they collide?
Well, strictly speaking, to get a patent, you have to teach someone how to build the thing that you invented. That's part of the disclosure requirement, that you have to teach someone how to build it, to give them enough information on how to create it for themselves. That's part of the whole deal. It's like, we're going to give you a monopoly in exchange for the information for the new discovery on how to do it. If you don't want to tell us about it, you have trade secret, and that's a whole different side of the problems. But yeah, so if the patent isn't providing you a way of doing it, if it doesn't teach you how to do it, then it's an invalid patent. If there's prior art on the specific disclosure, it would be an invalid patent. But to figure out whether or not it's truly an invalid patent, you have to actually get into the weeds of the thing. You actually have to go and read the claims, and you have to go read in each and every word, and then you have to go and interpret them in light of the particular specification. And it requires a lot of nuance and a lot of detail. It can be very, very pedantic at times. And so it requires a lot of attention to detail.
All right, so you see here, this is interesting. He's saying that, one, you can, in order to patent something, you have to show someone like how to do this thing. And even though a particular concept may not be able to be patented, if you can come up with a new or very specific way to do it, you may be able to get a patent for it. He's also saying that to invalidate a patent, it seems like it's pretty complicated. And again, he's saying it requires you getting into the weeds. And, you know, I know a lot of folks have been saying, well, this isn't a new idea. This has been done before. It's called trapunto. I think it's a bit speculative to say that without having the analysis of someone with expertise like Kurt has to really examine the patent and determine that. So I just don't think it's so easy to be like, well, needs to be I don't know. Like, that's the thing. And unless you are a patent attorney or a patent expert, the reason I wanted to show you this is to demonstrate that this is just an area of the law that most of us are really not familiar enough to be able to make definitive statements about it. So that's why I'm really refraining from saying, like, this is BS or, like, this is crazy. Again, it does seem crazy, but, you know, we can't really say for sure. So we can't really say for sure. So I don't think it's that easy, guys. I don't really think it's that easy.
And it's expensive too, right? I mean, you have to have the researchers who know what they're doing. You have to track down all of that, read it, and Isn't the basic theme of the patent troll to hit a company for saying, "Oh, just give us $20,000, $40,000, and we'll go away," or 100,000, whoever it is, like Apple?
Yes.
We've got
Well, first of all, patent troll is the politically incorrect term. These days, we call them non-practicing entities. So
Okay.
we're much
like that
politer about it.
non-practicing
But yeah, that
entity.
is a
That's so
classic,
because-
arguable business model of some of these companies who some people might believe are engaging in those kinds of practices.
Okay, well, but yeah, patent troll rolls off the tongue better.
Yes. We had to come up with a different phrase for it, though. So, no.
I like that. They're not patent trolls. They're non-practicing entities. That's kind of hilarious. Oh boy.
Practicing entity.
Well, I mean, what are your thoughts about your description?
Well, it depends very much on the specific patent. I one of the things that I have trouble with, and I have trouble figuring out how to communicate this particular subject to people who are not professionals in the field, which is one of the reasons I don't talk about it on my channel, because I feel like it requires so much detail. It's very hard to do in an easy way. But it requires a lot of attention to detail. And some things that look bogus on first blush are not really bogus once you get into the details of the thing.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like, he even said a lot of things you think are bogus might not be bogus if you really get into things. So, that's where I'm like, yeah, I don't know, Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would take a company with deep pockets to dispute the patent that we all discussed. Yeah, I think that's probably a safe bet to say. And it would require getting someone with the expertise the expertise necessary to be able to give an opinion on it, and then it would take a lot of money to try to fight it. I know on surface level everyone's like, this is ridiculous. It might be legit. I don't know. Might be legit, might not be. It's rough. It's rough, guys.
So some of the things that are sometimes paraded out as junk patents are not really junk, or at least they don't seem to be to my eye once you get into the details. Now, that isn't to say that someone couldn't agree with me, but it feels like a lot of the discussion online is somewhat blunt and not necessarily particularly down into the weeds of the thing. It's like, man passes patent search engine on computer. I'm like, no, that's not exactly what's going on here. And I don't even know where to start,
Okay, well, and I think that's completely fair, because sometimes things may appear to be minor and they're actually complex. Like a lot of people get annoyed with Apple and saying it's perfectly obvious for the click wheel to navigate a list. And that was absolutely original, because I've been in technology long enough to say, no, hell no, nobody had ever thought of that I know of. It was very novel and it was functional. Same way as, well, it's obvious to just put a keyboard on a screen and to use only the whole screen for an iPhone. It's like, well, no, it really wasn't. That's why everybody had a keyboard on their device for every device before that. And if you want even more proof, look at the original prototype for Android, and you'll see that it looked like a BlackBerry and had a keyboard physically on it.
Yeah.
What I'm referring
that's
to...
another thing, too. Like, everything is obvious in retrospect, and people don't respect the dates. So they'll see some patent that was issued in, they'll see something issued in like 2003 and be like, oh, that's so obvious. I'm like, but was it obvious in 2003? Right. And he's like, of course it was. I'm like, I'm not so sure. Maybe we actually have to go look,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of like that Radio Shack ad that they famously had, that the entire front page is now on an iPhone.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
On that note, though, and gotta Biden the cold one. Hello again, Mr. Hunley. Caught your show, and Nick Rakita. Hi, Kurt. Hope you're well. Keep up the good work. Thank you, sir, and thank you for the super chat.
By the way, I really love all of the Nick Rakita references. This is in 2020. Just in light of everything that's happened, it's just sort of comical to see everyone referencing seeing the Nick Rakita show. Just because, yeah, a lot's happened since 2020.
I want to be very specific, though, and to hopefully narrow it down. I'm talking about a particular group who seem to be in East Texas, I don't remember the exact, but very, very limited jurisdiction. They seem to always sue to bring corporations to Texas, and their entire industry seems to be a series of PO boxes and non-business addresses explicitly for the purpose of what I would say is exploitation of the patent system.
Yeah, so that's the famous town of Marshall, Texas, where a lot of these things were filed in the Eastern District of Texas. A lot of these things, to the point where Samsung somewhat famously had an ice rink outdoors in Marshall, Texas, in order to like have an ice rink so people would see the Samsung name. They wanted to keep that up and running in the heat of
fast forward
Texas, trying to get around that to varying degrees of success. But it's a couple of years ago where Supreme Court said you got to stop doing this. You can't just sue them wherever you like. You have to sue them in their principal place of business or where they're incorporated. So they took a lot of that away. And some people have been trying to get around that to varying degrees of success, but the Supreme Court took a big bite at it. But yeah, the juries in Marshall, Texas were known for finding infringement all the time. They always found infringement. So it was somewhere you always wanted to sue if you're in the infringing category, because they always seem to, for some reason, rule for the infringement. So yeah, that was a thing.
It was almost like George W. Bush never met a bill he didn't sign.
Yeah.
And I will say, I would be super curious if I can get a chance to talk to Kurt. I really would want to know his take on whether patent protection would extend to digital content like YouTube videos. I'm really curious to see what he would have to say about that, to see whether that would be a thing or if that's totally ridiculous. I don't know.
Okay, well, and I'm glad to hear that they did that, because I'm mixing up a lot of things because obviously I'm a novice, but I didn't know if a way to deal with patent abuse, I would say, would be something like, and I know it's defamation, but slap. You know, is there a way to put something in, like, let's say, where if you put forth and chase somebody about your patent, but it can be proven that there's prior art or whatever, that you can be saddled with legal fees? Would that be a potential way to maybe help mitigate abuses in the system?
I suppose, possibly, but to do that, you're going to have to get, SLAP exists as a matter of state law. They were passed by various state legislatures, and patent law is exclusively federal. So you need to get the United States Congress to pass some sort of version for that for patent law.
See, I did not know that. So patent law would only be federal courts and not state courts. So that's also interesting. So if someone was to sue you for patent infringement, it would have to be in federal court and not a local court, from what he's saying. I don't know.
But yeah, you could do that.
Do you think that would be effective?
I think it'd be unlikely to get done. Actually, getting it through Congress is a whole nother set of problems. But yeah, if you could petition Congress to come up with some sort of some sort of slap for patent law and get that through. So let me know how that works out for you, I guess.
Yeah, I'll be right on it. I'll hire you to put it through.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, before we get started,
need a big pile of money and a lot of time.
Oh, okay. I'll write you a check. Before we got started, you were talking about in patent law that a lot of times people overlook another kind of patent. We're very concerned, obviously, with the design patent and rounded corners and things of that sort. But plants are another kind of patent.
Yeah, so patents come in three principal varieties. The utility patent is the one that I talk about the most, because that's the most dominant kind by far, which is for a useful article. Then you have design patents, which are for design elements in a useful article. So the famous patent with Apple, with the rounded corners of their icons that people get so snippy about, that's not a utility patent, that's a design patent. And as a result of that, it's a perfectly valid patent. It's a design element in a useful article. The iPhone's a useful article. It does useful things. And so it's a design element, and it protects the unique design. To not infringe, it's easy. Just don't have rounded corners. It's not that big a deal.
Well, that came out of the
patent for certain types of plants, like the things that grow from the ground, for if you want to come up with a new kind of patent. So if you're Monsanto or you're a farmer somewhere, or you're a apple grower, or the state of Washington in one case, which got a patent for a new breed of apple, then that's where you go to the plants.
Well, and that's because technically plants are being genetically modified. Even if you're splicing together, you're adding things together almost like chemistry to create something else.
Yeah. I mean, you're always looking for the next thing, and there's it's challenging.
Okay, now you had mentioned the rounded corners. Now that was all tied in with the Apple v Samsung lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
And on that one, in fairness, I think by any objectable measure, people could look at the Samsung and look at the Apple and say, one of these is very much like the other.
Yeah. I mean, with the rounded corner thing, I mean, they look the same. The nice thing about design patents, the real controversy was on the amount of damages, because the way that the statute was written was a little bit vague how the apportionment of damages should be calculated. But the actual underlying infringement was fairly easy. I mean, this is rounded corners. This is rounded corners.
All right, and guys, I want you to keep in mind that Kurt, the guy on the right from Uncivil Law, he worked at the United States Patent and Trademark Office for 14 years. So this is someone that knows what they're talking about. They're a patent attorney, and they worked as a patent examiner for 14 years at the USPTO. So his insight is worth listening to.
Right, and the consumers were being confused deliberately because Apple was only being sold with AT&T stores, whereas Samsungs were flooding out the other cell phone carriers, and people working in the store be like, "Oh yeah, it's practically an iPhone, sure."
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're taking advantage of someone else's inventions, discoveries, goodwill, their branding, their the way things are designed, when you're making things look a certain way, it's not really fair competition now, is it? Come up with your own thing. Make it better than the other guy's thing. Why are you copying their thing? They come up with it first. It's theirs. So yeah, it's basically just unfair competition at its root.
Now, out of curiosity though, have you noticed around, and if you haven't figured it out, I'm a huge Apple fanboy, so but I go around and I look at like BJ's or Costco or whatever, and I see headphones that are in a case that looks just like this, and the headphones, there's a big picture of them, and they look, I mean, identical to this, and they're being sold, mainstream. It's like, hey, that's $30, that's $40, and they're so obviously blatantly clones. Is that Apple just saying, I really don't care?
It could be a whole lot of things. It could be Apple saying, I just don't care. It can also get very, very sticky, because if you are, it gets into weird boundaries between patent law and to the useful article, because Apple, their patents, to the extent they exist, and what's actually going on there, and the boundaries of trade dress, and what is and what is not fair competition. And Apple, if they can be bothered, and maybe it's good marketing for them on some level because it means their product's more popular. I couldn't begin to know what's going through Apple's head. But if Apple wants to give me a big pile of money, I think I can help them with many of these infringers. Some of them may be judgment proof. It may not be worth their time. So there's a lot of potential reasons, but I'm available if they want to give me a big pile of money.
Okay, well, I'm going to start to move off of the whole patent thing. Before I do, though, what am I missing? What did I leave on the table that I really should have asked you?
I think you really got the principal things. It's just trying to keep the boundaries between concepts is probably the hardest thing, because people use the terms a little interchangeably because they're not used to hearing the terms. And so trying to make sure that you're using terms properly. So, patents protect things that are useful, that do something. Copyright protects artistic work, and trademark protects names and source identifiers to say what is the source of this product. So just trying to keep those concepts separate, and they have different kinds of lengths of time, different coverages of things. and it can get complicated. But I think a lot of people see just the article with the headline, and they kind of reach wrong conclusions because they're kind of looking at things very broadly, when sometimes it's the devil's in the details, which is, I guess, true in many fields of law, to be quite fair.
Yeah, it makes sense. And actually, no, I'm going to reach back in for one more thing, because you mentioned it's a whole nother mess. Trade secrets.
Sure. So the most famous example there is the recipe for Coca-Cola. I mean, that's the most famous trade secret of all.
All right.
So trade.
I think that's about it for this, but this was fascinating, and I'm really glad we got to take a look at this. What did y'all think? Did you learn something from this? I definitely learned something when I watched it, so that's why I wanted to share with you, because I just saw a lot of things being thrown around in the comment section of that patent clip I put up, and I just thought this would be super helpful, especially if you didn't previously have a lot of knowledge about how patents work or how the USPTO operates. I thought this was super helpful. So thank you very much to Eric Hunley and Uncivil Law Kurt. If you haven't checked out their channels, they do have a lot of very interesting law topics. In fact, I had no idea that Kurt was a patent attorney, because I don't think other than this and maybe like one other thing I was able to find, I hadn't really seen him ever talk about patents or IP or anything. So he normally covers like crime and Supreme Court type stuff on his channel. So I had no idea this was his area of expertise. And he did mention that the reason he doesn't really talk about it a lot is because he can just easily get so into the weeds, and it requires so much detail. So I totally understand that. So thank you very much to Eric Hunley and Kurt from Uncivil Law for letting us react to that video. But if you want to watch the whole thing, it is linked in the description box of this video. But again, that's why I think this patent situation is more complicated than it might look on the surface, and it would require us to get a breakdown from someone like Kurt. Again, I did try to make contact, so we'll see what happens. I can't promise anything. I am really excited though, because coming up this week, I'm supposed to be interviewing an intellectual property attorney with a lot of experience in e-commerce and social media. So we're going to be having a conversation that I think will be very helpful to us makers, especially if you sell things. If you sell things you make, or if you are like a social media influencer, or even if you're just a business that uses social media, I think it will be really helpful for you. So I'm pretty excited about this conversation with another IP attorney. And and when I did ask him a little bit about this patent situation. He's like, he's like, that's totally not in my wheelhouse. I can't even, he's like, I wouldn't even have anything to say, because it's just not my area. So that's, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, me reaching out to like Legal Eagle or Emily D. Baker would just not be helpful. Plus it would be cringe, because they're such massive channels and they wouldn't get back to me. So I just wanted to share that. But I thought that that conversation about the patents was really interesting, especially since they did talk about patent trolls, because that's, what we are alleging. That's what we're alleging. Let's see. I don't know. How far have you gotten with the big Are you talking about the Outdaughtered show? I'm on season, I think I'm on season 9 now. Season 9. So I'm working my way to season 10, which is the current season. Alright, yeah, it is an interesting video, and I learned a couple things. I have dealt with patents and even helped a company I worked for to get a patent on a product we invented. Yeah, I thought that was fascinating, especially since this guy Kurt worked at USPTO for 14 years, and he examined patents. So I have a lot of questions I want to ask him if I get the opportunity. I am trying. He has about 140,000 YouTube subscribers, so he is still a pretty big channel. and he is in the middle of a trial. He's doing the Karen Reed trial, which isn't really one I'm following, but it is pretty, looks pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm still watching Outdaughter. By the way, they also have a YouTube channel, so if you are also into the show about the all-girl quintuplets, they have a YouTube channel called It's a Buzzworld, where they also post videos as well. So if you are looking for more of the Busby fam, you can get your fix. I'm obsessed with this show. I'm like super obsessed for some reason, and I am like not even sure why. I can't stop watching the show. I'm a big Riley stan. I'm just a big fan. So it's definitely been quite a week. So I will keep, again, if I'm able to do more with this patent situation, I would love to be able to do so, but I've been running into some roadblocks, and it's just covering something like this would be pretty challenging. And I know that I'm under no pretenses that it would be easy, because it would not. It's not going to be easy if I try to do anything. Plus, I got to worry about the patent holder trying to come after me. So I don't know. So it definitely would be a pretty tough project to try to do something more substantial with it. And yeah, like if anybody wanted to try to challenge the patent, it's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to cost a lot of money and a lot of time. So someone would have to commit to that. That's a lot to ask. And I saw in the comments of the clip I posted that a lot of people were like, oh, they should have just ignored the email and not done anything. It's an empty threat. I actually think that would be a very bad idea to ignore it. I would not recommend somebody ignore a legal threat. And it's tough because a lot of people don't have money for an attorney consult. So it's pretty tough. Yeah. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. I am in contact with some folks who have been, who were affected and were threatened by this person. And that's the thing. Like, it seems like everybody so far has complied with the patent holder because they were scared. And I think it's easy to say from behind a keyboard. They should have just ignored it or fought back. The truth is, you don't really know who you're dealing with, how disgruntled this person is, how vengeful they are, and what kind of resources they have. So ignoring it might come back to bite you in the butt. So might not be probably not a smart idea to just ignore it and pretend it didn't happen. Because not a good idea. Not a good idea. That's incorrect. So it seems to me that person in question would need it. Yes, that's not big difference. They have a patent. So patent protects things that are useful. Copyright protects creative works. So the patent holder has a patent on a specific type of process for their 3D applique embroidery technique. Now my question is, would the patent protection extend to something like YouTube videos, like digital content? I don't know, but this is not at all a copyright issue. This is a patent issue. So, and again, that's why I wanted to show you that video with Kurt from Uncivil Law, because here I thought he really did a good job of breaking down the differences. And I also see a lot of confusion between within intellectual property. I see a lot of confusion over copyright, fair use. Copyright and fair use. I see a lot, and even trademarks. I see a lot of people conflating a lot of those concepts, and there's a lot of confusion over what they are and which one does what. So, but yeah, this is really not a copyright issue. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Oh, I wonder if there's a different process of creating embossed embroidery. Well, that's the thing. Like, in order for us to really get down to the nitty gritty, that patent would have to be looked at by a patent attorney to break down what exactly it covers. Yeah, I would not ignore it. That is where businesses get it. Exactly. You could ignore it, and then the patent holder could sue you, and then you're really in deep shit. So I wouldn't really want to be in that situation. I again, I know this is tough because a lot of us do not have money to have like a lawyer on retainer, but ignoring it is a really bad idea. You can't assume this person is bluffing. That is a really bad idea. That's a really bad idea. So ignoring a legal threat, no matter if it's coming from a person or an attorney, don't recommend. Do not recommend. So I know that video, a lot of y'all had some very strong opinions on it. I'm really trying to stay fairly neutral on it because I don't know what's what. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not even going to pretend to have the legal expertise needed for me to really comment on that. Yeah. So here's the thing. From what when I tried to read through the patent, there was that's the thing. There was way too much like legalese in it for me. But I didn't really see any type of equipment specified. Like I didn't see it say like embroidery machine or sewing machine or by hand. So for all we know, if there was no specific type of tools or equipment specified, it could cover doing it by hand or sewing machine or embroidery machine or anything. I don't know. So that's the thing. I really don't want to, we really can't be like throwing out all this speculation willy-nilly without really knowing what's up. And I'm not really comfortable doing it without talking to somebody with patent law expertise. And there really aren't that many people with that type of expertise, so I would really have to talk to someone with like that. So, well, again, war paint unicorns, like Kurt was saying in his video, you might think that's super obvious and that's way too broad, but the patent does have some pretty specific language in it. So even though you might think there's no way they can have a patent on it, they got a patent, and there may be something it may be legit. Like, it may be legit. So that's why I really don't want to tell people that's BS, that's bogus, because I don't know, how legitimate or bogus that patent is, but they had someone examine it, and it took like 4 years. Yeah, so they applied in 2015 and they got the patent in 2019. So again, I think without having appropriate legal expertise, there's really no way for us to really make those types of determinations. So yeah, I don't know exactly. I thought it all sounded sketchy, but I would never ignore anything that sounded the least bit legal. Yeah, right? Sometimes a consultation is free. I heard that patent law is difficult to specialize. Yeah, so if you kind of just tuned in, I reacted to a video interviewing Kurt from Uncivil Law, and he is a patent attorney. And they have a separate bar exam, and you have to have a technical degree. So it is pretty difficult to become a patent attorney. And it's a totally different specialization. They have their own bar exam. I just thought that video was super interesting. So if you're kind of just tuning in late, I would encourage you to kind of watch this live stream back from the beginning and check out that video that Eric Hunley did with Kurt from Uncivil Law. Super interesting. And yeah, it is a specialized area of law. So I know a lot of y'all were like, oh my gosh, there's no way, they can have a patent on this. And they might be able to have a patent on this. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They might. So I know you think it's ridiculous. It might not be as obvious as you think. So it's tough though. It's tough to make a determination. And again, without actually having a patent attorney look at that specific patent, and without actually challenging it, you're not going to really know. So, and that's going to take a lot of resources. You got to have real deep pockets, and somebody would have to commit to fighting the fight. So if somebody wants to put their money and their time where their mouth is, go ahead. I don't even know if I would be able to do that. And I definitely don't have the money to do it. That's for sure. So, but yeah, you're looking at you know, probably easily, you could spend 6 figures doing this. Easy. You could definitely do that. I don't know if a class action loss, you know, well, again, it would have to be, as Kurt said, it's federal law. I don't know if a class action suit would be applicable in this specific instance. You know, I don't know. So, again, we really need to get somebody to weigh in with patent law expertise. If there is a patent attorney out there watching and you would like to provide some legal analysis, comment in this video, let me know. But yeah, and if you're not a patent attorney, even their insight wouldn't be helpful. So again, I think us non-lawyers really can't, you know, we really can't make any statements of fact here because we're not experts, and I'm not even going to pretend to be. So I know this topic had a lot of interest, though. For obvious reasons, it does have pretty wide-ranging implications. I was very concerned because this person is threatening content creators, and I did find that pretty strange. And I don't know how legitimate that particular aspect is. But as far as them having a patent, guys, they have a patent. Whether you think it's legitimate or not is, you know, kind of moot because they do have a patent. So, I know. So, a lot of us are in disbelief over that fact, but the fact is they were able to get a patent on this particular process. And, you know, if you want to, you know, if you think that's BS, then you're going to have to put your money where your mouth is and try to fight, you know, try to see what you can do. But it's going to be it would be a very uphill battle. I think the likelihood of challenging it successfully would be very slim. You know, it's just, yeah, I think it would be pretty slim. I don't know how, yeah. I don't know how much you want to try to get into that, but it is where it is, and this person is trying to enforce their patent protection by coming after content creators and anyone that does even remotely similar embroidery techniques. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I know it seems crazy. I know it seems a little crazy. Alright guys, I'm probably going to take off for the night. Let me know what you think about this live show down below in the comments. I greatly appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. I will see you again next week, Sunday 6 p.m., same time, same place, where we will go over the latest in the sewing and craft world. I'm Jen for the Sewing Report. I'll see you again. Everybody stay good, stay safe, have a great, I know it's 4th of July week. I will be back here next Sunday. I think July 4th is on Thursday. And don't forget, our friends at Sew Tight are having a 10% off site-wide sale on everything in stock. My link is in the chat here. It's also in the description box. I'm a Sew Tights affiliate. You can get 10% off everything that's in stock on the Sew Tights website and stack that with an additional 15% off discount if you use the code Sewing Report. So pretty sweet deal, and that does include the Sew Magnetic Cutting System. So if you've had your eye on that one, interested in checking it out, but you wanted to save a little bit more money, or you just wanted to purchase some more Sew Tight products, just a quick shout out, this sale is running from now until July 4th. Alright, I'll see you guys again next week, and I'll play you all out with some music, and we will chill for a little bit. We'll chill for a little bit here. Alright guys, and on your way out, be sure to hit the like button if you've not already. Guys. Alright, have a good one.